I came to the All About You Center almost by chance. My wife had been very stressed by her job and did a couple of sessions of hypnotherapy with Sonia Santani in early 2021 and felt much better after that. On a friend's recommendation, she decided to take the level 1 of hypnotherapy training out of curiosity, just to know a bit more. And I also signed up last minute, also out of curiosity. I had no idea that this decision would change my life. My name is Olivier Baillet. I'm 50 years old. I have 2 teenager kids. I've been an endurance sports coach for 7 years and a nutrition, health and life coach for a few months. I am currently in training to become a hypnotherapist next year. I was known at some point as one of the strongest endurance athletes in Hong Kong, especially in triathlon, which is a hard sport combining swimming, biking and running. The longest version of triathlon is called an Ironman. It's almost 4K of swimming, followed by 180K of cycling, followed by a full marathon without stopping. I have done 10 Ironman. There is a world championship for these sports. It takes place in Hawaii. I have done these world championships 4 times. I am one of the only 2 athletes to have ever swum around Lantau Island, over 75 kilometers of swimming. I am also one of the very first athletes in Hong Kong to ride what we call an Everesting, which requires to climb on a bike the height of Everesting, almost 9,000 meters in one go. I did it on Thai Motion Climb, which is the highest peak in Hong Kong, which I climbed 10 times in a row. I suggest you just climb it once on your bike and you will get an idea of what it represents. So all in all, a solid endurance sports resume. But still, around 2012, 2013, something starting to fall off. It started with digestive issues. I used to feel always bloated. Then I got really tired. It became chronic fatigue. At some point I was sleeping 13 hours at night and needed 2 naps just to survive the day. Then I got brain fog. Couldn't focus, couldn't remember one thing. Every day was a struggle. Eventually, it spiraled down into a full-on depression, diagnosed in 2018. I didn't stay idle. I looked for cure and for healing everywhere. Regular doctor, conventional doctor were mostly saying that I was either faking or it was all in my head, as most of my tests came back normal. I did some progress when I started to focus on my gut issue by working on my microbiome, as we call it, with functional doctors. I tried all kinds of supplements and all the diets under the sun. It was a constant roller coaster. I was going from being kind of okay to terribly unwell. And it lasted for years. I tried Chinese medicine, Reiki, and some very, very weird technique that I couldn't even explain. Nothing really clicked. The first real trigger was during my health and coaching class last year, when I realized that my gut issue was the result of my attitude, not my food. Indeed, I suddenly understood that the source of my issue was my poor management of stress and anxiety. That's what brought me to work more on my mind and eventually brought me to hypnotherapy. But I first came as a skeptic. Eventually got sold on the first class. From one level to the next, I started to feel better and better in my skin. Anxiety decreased. Reactions of anger become more and more rare. I changed, I opened up. Very importantly for me, the feeling of being lost, of not knowing what to do with my life, completely disappeared and left room to a feeling of being very confident in what life throws at me. I started to understand the value of a certain life challenge. I started to accept that what I used to judge as bad is just part of life, has a meaning, and provides an opportunity for growth. Along the hypnotherapy Along the hypnotherapy classes, I benefited from hypnosession with fellow students. I also booked Sonia in parallel for a few one-on-one sessions that were truly amazing. I'm also a case for a would-be therapist. Let's say that I am fully immersed in hypnotherapy right now. I can see the benefit in me and I can see the changes in my fellow students. Now, the Center All About You is not just about hypnotherapy. I have participated to workshops that were equally insightful. I did an online workshop on metaphors of the mind, which explain how the brain works. I did a one-day workshop on public speaking, as public speaking is one of the things that Sonia does extremely well. And in one day, I changed my way to present and interact with the public. And then I did the level 1 practitioner course of neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, which is an extremely interesting way to analyze words and body languages used by clients. It provides some super efficient and fast techniques to deal with automatic mechanism and with being stuck. I have integrated NLP into my nutrition, health and life coaching practice with clients, and it is very, very powerful. To summarize, let's say that in 4 months, All About You Center has been a huge contribution to my healing and to my personal and business development. I wasn't requested to shoot this referral. I asked for it because I wanted people who watch it to understand a couple of things. First, that if you're stuck in your life for years or even decades, healing is always possible. And it sometimes comes in ways that you can't even imagine. Second, that your key to healing or feeling better can very well happen with All About You Center. Hypno, NLP and other practices may not be for everybody, but they are worth a shot. I tried and it changed my life, and I am extremely grateful for it. Thanks for listening.